So I had planned on doing a 10-day fat loss video, but it didn't go so well because there was ice cream cake. So the total length of the Minicut ended up being 18 days, but I had 10 to 12 days that were super on point. So I technically did still stick to the original idea of having a 10 to 12 day Minicut. It was just stretched out over 18 days instead. So I saw pretty good changes considering everything, and I documented everything I do. I wanted to show you guys a realistic, personal, short journey with some major ups and downs, because I basically have struggled with depression and anxiety, mental health struggles through most of my fitness journey, and I definitely just felt really alone. So this video is to, number one, show you that you're not alone if you're having the same struggle, and number two, that even if you are struggling, no matter what the struggle is, you can still move forward and see results, even if it's slower than you planned. So that wasn't actually the original overall message that I wanted this series to have, but that is the story of my life, to be honest. And I really wanted to show it because a lot of people let those difficult times make them quit. So it's always like quit, restart, quit, restart. So I want to show you how to persevere and deal with struggles. So yeah, let's go and check out my journey. All right, so the first thing you gotta have figured out before you start a mini cut or any type of cut or any fitness goal is your calories, because especially if you're trying to lose body fat, you gotta have that calorie deficit in check. So typically I would start with a smaller deficit, but because this is a mini cut, it's okay to have a short period of time where it's a little bit faster. Keyword, little bit faster. So my maintenance is about 2,400 calories, and I'm going to subtract 600 calories from that and do a 600 calorie deficit, and I'm going to eat 1,800 calories. Now, typically if I was just doing a regular drawn out slow cut, I would start with like 2,000 calories, even 2,100 calories, do that for a few weeks and then adjust accordingly. But since this is a mini cut, we're starting in on the lower, and I mean lower, 1,800 is not that low for most people. For me, it feels like low because I get so many steps every day. So it feels like it feels like it's getting down there. Like it's like, woo. So yeah, those are my calories, 1,800 calories. And then protein is the next thing that we want to have dialed in. So the minimum protein I would hit is 130 grams of protein, but I'm gonna be aiming for 140 to 150, just because protein keeps you fuller. And since I'm in a deficit, I really am gonna wanna maximize the things I'm doing to keep myself full. And then it's just gonna, I just feel like being extra like in there, like extra tight and oomph. So we're doing a lot of protein, and I actually enjoy protein. So those are the basics. And then the only other thing I'm paying attention to is fiber. Women want to get a minimum of 25 grams of fiber a day. And as long as you do that, you're hitting your calories, you're hitting your protein, you're hitting your fiber, the carbs and fats are gonna fall into place. There's virtually no room for them to go over if all those things have been hit. And the good thing too is if you're hitting enough fiber, then that's a good sign that you're picking good nutritionally dense foods. So as I go through these 10, maybe 12 days, I'll show you guys just like the different ways my numbers can kind of vary, but while still hitting the same protein and calories. So that'll be very neat. So those are my numbers in terms of nutrition. They're ready to go. Now, the other thing, obviously, I'd want to take into account my steps and my workouts, because those matter too. And those are things we'll be covering as the video continues. Woo! Okay, so it is 7:52 a.m. I've been up for a few hours now. since 3:54 a.m. and this is the first thing I'm consuming that isn't water or pre-workout. So this is my greens powder. So I always have this around this time. And then I'm also starting with a protein shake. It looks really weird. It's peach flavored, I think. Yeah. So basically what this is these things are gonna hold me over. I'm getting in my protein, I'm getting in some nutrients, but it's still kind of saving calories because I'm not really hungry yet. And then this just leaves me more calories for the evening. So either way, I'm still eating the same amount, but I'm making matters easier for myself by giving myself more calories at the time that I have more cravings, which is at night. So this is what I'll start with some days too, even if I'm really busy. It's not even a hunger thing. If I don't have time still for my next meal, I'll have this again. I mean, this isn't a meal, this is like a little snack. So I'll do this again though in a couple hours. If I'm like, I'm a little hungry, but not ready for a meal and I'm really busy, it's not ideal to live off of protein shakes and green powder. So please do not do that on a regular basis. But if we're being realistic and it's a day you're crazy busy and you need something to hold you over, these types of things are really awesome because they energize you and they get in some of your essential things. So right now I am realizing just how important it is, or how helpful it is, to set little mini goals. Like I have that excited, motivated feeling, and it's just like, I feel like I'm working towards something, and that's because I am. It's kind of like a fine line, because I remember in the past when I would work towards something short term, but longer than this. So it would be like 6 weeks, and it would be for 6 weeks going really, really strict, and it would be even stricter than what I'm doing now. This isn't really that strict. When you're doing it that long, it's really hard to recover or like come back from that in a controlled manner. Okay, so right now it is 5:27 p.m. and I have 13,903 steps. So what I'm doing is aiming for a slight, like a bit of a higher step count goal than usual. I do get 15,000, but it usually is 12,000 to 16,000. So now it's more gonna be like 15 to 20 that I aim for. So what you wanna do is basically just bump up your steps a little bit higher than usual. So for you, that doesn't have to be 15,000 steps. If you usually get 6,000, aim for like 8 to 10, whatever's like doable, but just aim so it's a little bit of extra effort. So you're like, ooh, I'm pushing it, because you know it's just for the 10 days. And then after that, you can pull back a little bit. You would still take your steps, but you wouldn't, rather than taking the 10,000, you could go back to like 6 or 7. So that's the nice thing. It's like, oh, and then you would go back. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Okay, so it is my birthday today, and I thought it would be fun, because I'm turning 26, so I thought it would be fun to shoot for 26K steps. So it is currently 6:20 p.m. and I am at, let me check. I'm at 19,000 steps. Woo! I'm at 19,000 steps. I've been power walking and working on the treadmill. You see, I'm sweating. And then I'm about to go in a minute for a walk with my mom and my dogs. So that's gonna get me a couple thousand more steps. And then after that, I'll probably do another power walk. I'm going to get off this treadmill and go walk with my mom and my dogs, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Woo-hoo. Bax. We've got Baxter. We've got Woxy. I've got 20,744 steps at 6:44 p.m. Ooh. Okay, it's 7:25. I have 24,557 steps. So all I have to do is walk fast, and I can get that pretty quickly, so I can still get to bed. Honestly, 8 isn't, maybe only like slightly after 8, so I'm not too bad. I'm reloading up my vape for my weed. This is like really old. It's like so big, a big honking thing. As much as I am a fan of smoking my bong, I'm trying to be healthy, you know? So when I smoke I still smoke my bong a lot, but I try to switch and do my vape sometimes too. So it's not quite as bad. So whenever I smoke my vape, I feel so pure. Okay, so if you're wondering why I'm doing this, so this is the indica weed, which makes you sleepy. So that way, because ideally if you do like cardio before bed, it's not really an ideal wind down routine. I mean, at this point I may be getting quite tired, so it may be fine. But sometimes doing like a lot of physical activity where you're working up a sweat can make it harder to fall asleep. So since I'm not taking that proper time to wind down, we smoke while we're power walking. I feel like people are either going to be like, wow, that's so smart and impressive, or wow, that's so dumb. I think it's impressive because who gets 26K steps? Not many people. Who gets 26K steps while smoking weed the whole time? This girl. Yeah. So, who's the dumb looking one now? That's what I thought. We're so close! We're so close! I'm here! I did it! I was just walking so fast. Okay, so it is the end of day 3. I've hit my calories, I've hit my protein, I've hit my fiber. And what are my steps at? They're at 16,955. After the 26,000 steps yesterday, I actually did not feel too bad at all today. Since I'm used to getting a decent amount of steps, it's not like crazy. But when I will say in the morning at first, my ankles were a little bit sore and I had like blisters on my left foot, but now they're gone. And so is the soreness. So, woohoo. This was actually a day where I was like, like I so badly wanted to overeat, and like there's a couple things that I felt. One was overeating. Like, you know, when you go through the day and you start getting this feeling and you're just like, ugh, I don't care anymore, I'm just gonna overeat. Like, I started getting that feeling and I was like, no, nah. And then the other feeling was just that impatient feeling. So everything that like my clients feel, and like, well, just everybody, like, and you guys, just anyone who ever struggles whenever they're like, oh, I feel so impatient. And I always say like, don't feel impatient, blah, blah, blah. But I always say I understand, because I do. Like, it's 3 days in and I'm feeling a little bit impatient, but I know that that's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm just not thinking about it, and I'm just staying the course and knowing that patience is required. And I mean, 10 days is so short anyways. I don't know how much of a difference it'll be. I think because of where I'm at in my journey, I can see a fairly quick difference in 10 days typically. So we'll see. But yeah, it was a bit of a grind today. I had to push through. I was tempted to give up, but I did not. And I'm very proud of myself. And I got through the day smoothly. So it was a successful day 3. I'm very excited and proud of myself. So just know that when you get to those points where you feel like giving up, push through and you'll be proud. And feeling impatient is normal, but don't give in to that emotion. Don't try to rush things along. Oh my goodness. I'm always hitting things with my arms when I'm talking to the camera. Don't try and rush things along. Let it be and just stick with it. Woohoo!